guys, my name is Dmitry Mrzhensky. You are watching Dev++ channel where we are talking about advanced Angular topics. And in today's video we will learn how to configure typography in your Angular material theme. And it's gonna be quite similar to what we did in my previous video where we did theming for our custom Angular component. The link to this video you will find somewhere here. Okay, typography. So what a lot of developers are thinking about typography, that it's something not important, that it's something for designers, they should care about this. Our business is just to add, I don't know, some font family to our web application, and that's pretty much it. But actually, if you have a look at your web application, you will see that I don't know, 50% of everything what user sees there, it is text. It is actually typography. And it's actually our responsibility as developers to keep these styles consistent, easy to reuse, and to have it very flexible in terms of changing. And literally every design system has its own typography scales. They have different levels of headings, of titles, regular text, and so on and so on. Angular material also has its own type scale system, and we can have a look on it if we go to material.io and find the design tab and go to typography section. Here we go. Here we see that we have 6 variants of headings, a couple of subtitles, a couple of bodies, buttons, captions, and overline. There you can also see the sizes, line height, and other props. And usually your design system should adhere the same structure, but of course you can customize it as you want. You can pick smaller font size or something like this. Okay, let's jump right into the code and let's see how Angular Material implements this typography system. Okay, let's go to our already well-known underscore theme scss file and investigate a little bit. Well, the function we need is called mat-typography-config, and here we go. There it is, and what do we see here? It is the same scales actually what we saw a minute ago on the material design page. And in order to understand how we can override it, I want to follow you through the whole call stack of this function. Let's check where this function is being called. Okay, here is only one place, and this is the Angular material typography mixin, and it is being called when no typography config is provided. And then we see that this config is passed to every mixin for every component as an argument. Okay, that is cool, but let's see who calls then our Angular material typography mixin. Okay, our next stop is mat-core mixin, which takes as argument our config and set it to null if it's empty. And now, if you worked before with Angular material or followed my previous video, you may say, hey, this is what we call in our style scss file, and you will be completely right. So let's go to our styles scss and make sure of it. So here we go, and ta-da! Here is there our mat-core mixin, which we called, and let's create our typography config. To do this, I want to create a variable. Let's call it custom typography, and here we will add our mat typography config, and I want to override let's say font family. I want to have it not Roboto but Open Sans, and I want to override title, and title will be yeah, by the way, I will use math typography level function. This is the helper where I can define my size, my line height, and different, I don't know, font weight like bold or whatever. So that will be 24 pixels, 32 pixels line height, and it will be bold. And I want to change title because I know that material card has component math card title, which is definitely utilize this typography. So our changes will be reflected immediately. Okay, let's add our custom config to math core. And then let's see that our card has a math card title, and it doesn't. Let's fix it immediately. Good. Now we can navigate to browser and see result. And you can see that our header became bolder and font family also changed, but it is actually not an open sans because we didn't include it. To do this, let's go quickly and grab it from Google Fonts. So here we go. Let's copy this and let's go to VS Code and insert it into our index HTML file. So perfect. Okay, reload. Okay, here we saw how it works for material components, but how we can use it actually in our custom component. Well, there is a couple of ways to do this. You can use pre-generated scss classes like this. Let's go to our app component and create some custom h1 tag. Add this style and let's see how it works. Okay, it is quite huge, but it proves that it works. The one thing, where these all styles come from? Well, there is one mixin called math-based typography. Let's find it. Okay, and you can see that this mixins generates whole bunch of CSS classes. You can see that here H1, H2, H3, and so on. But there is another way how we can do it, and for me personally it is preferable way because it's more explicit rather than CSS classes in template, and it's using of material helpers. So to follow Angular material code style, let's also create separate mixin in our app component scss theme.scss. Oh my god, how long this name file, and create mixin, which is math app typography, which accept config, and here inside we will type app-root, and inside h1, and here we will add font family as example, yeah, and we will use also helper from Angular material called math font family, and put config as a parameter. Then I want to change font size. For font size, we will use math font size helper as well, and here I will put config, and I want to grab the title styles for title, I mean, and the same for the font weight, and we will use math font weight helper. Here's the same, config the first parameter, title the second, and the line height. For line height, I will use math line height helper, also config, and also title as a second parameter. Good. And now we can save it and have a look how it works. Okay, nothing has been changed. Interesting, why? That's because we forgot include our app root typography mixin into our Angular theme. So let's do it. And now let's go to browser again, refresh, and yep, that works fine. Very good, looks nice. And the last thing, what I would like to show you also, that's okay. Let's go back to the VS Code. And there is a way how to do everything what we did before, but with only one line. And for this, we have to use mixin mat typography level to styles. This mixin accepts two parameters. First is a config, and the second one is the level. So in our case, it's title. Good, let's save it. Let's go to the browser, refresh. Nothing has been changed, which is proves that our mat typography level to styles mixin is working. I hope you learned something new, and if you like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because in the next video we will learn how to get rid of the styles which our application is not using, so it will allow us to decrease our bundle size, which is very important for every web application. And guys, as always, thank you for your attention and see you in the future.